I think WWE should go back to WWF. It should be World Wrestling Factions.
Ooh.
Because that is the direction that the WWE is going right now. There is, if you really step back and take a look at the whole picture, factions are coming and popping up left and right. And I think that's the direction Triple H is going, which I'm not mad about, because it for one, it gets more talent involved, right? Like, you know, we laugh and joke about the stud line, and I think at first we were kind of like, this is stupid, but slowly over the last couple weeks,
yes,
they're kind of growing on us, right? And then you got the damage controls, you got the Judgment Days, the Bloodline, the Final Testament, New Day, the unnamed Holy Trinity on SmackDown.
Yep.
It's just everywhere you look.
We have a name for them.
What is there a name?
What was it, Wavy D? Wavy D, I know you're here. What did we officially coined the Unholy Trinity something, and it's I got to write these down. We have a name.
But yeah, man,
I'll get back to you.
But yeah, it seems like that's and it makes sense with somebody at the helm like Triple H, where he came from a faction, right? So, it does set up a lot of good storylines that can come, because you can do the factions, you could do one person from each faction, you can kind of create stories over time with these factions, and I'm not mad at it. You know, I'm interested to see what happens with this New Day situation. I know it's, you know, it looked like Woods was a little unhappy about it, but if I was back there writing, I would kind of play with it a little bit. I would let the three of them kind of get together and see what happens there. And if it doesn't work out, then you can kind of be like, okay, I'm not happy with it. But yeah, man, I think the world of factions is growing on us, and I'm not mad about it.
So Big E kind of gave his blessing, right?
Yeah, I seen that.
To Odyssey. I'm with you on the New Day stuff. While I want Xavier to flourish, and if that means him having to leave, that's fine. But there's also a world where they don't have to rush this. I'm like you. Let's see if Odyssey adds an element that kind of revives the New Day, and then we could do the breakup 6 months from now. There's nothing wrong with pushing that back, because this works. By the way, the name was Dental Control. That's the name we've coined for the Unholy Trinity, is Dental Control.
Man, we're going to get canceled.
That's all right. This is why I don't give a fuck. This is why I don't care anymore. We just keep recording to nobody. It doesn't matter. So I'm with you on this faction thing. Because I don't think I've ever picked up on this happening, but this is probably why I'm enjoying wrestling more, because I think from a sociological standpoint, that's how human beings work, right? We tend to group up into teams, and so it makes sense, and it does give value to, now you don't have to do the same two people week after week after week after week, right? With the stud line and damage control, you have 6 people you can intertwine to give you different matches and go whichever direction, right? We thought we were getting Dakota Kai. Instead, we get Io Sky. Yep. I absolutely love that. I don't think I realized how many factions were coming together, and you're right. It is World Wrestling Factions, Final Testament. And I think what you said is absolutely right about like the stud line. Individually, they're okay. They came together. We added the element of comedy to it within our own little community. That doesn't happen when it's just Zoe Stark. You put these 3 people together and you give us something to it's the sports mentality, right? Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. People are tribalistic. I'm extremely tribalistic, right? If I'm a WWE fan, I'm probably not an AEW fan. It's goes back to days of like 50 Cent and Ja Rule. I always took a side. That's why I said last night, the way I want to experience wrestling from here on out is every time there's a story, I've got to commit. I've got to commit to a side and stop trying to be logical and stop doing the thing where I go, this guy's going to win. No, just fuck it. I'm going to cheer for Randy Orton, and I'm going to be excited if Randy, and I'm going to be sad if he loses. And that to me, what happened was I was watching SummerSlam and I saw the excitement on people's faces when like Roman came back. I'm like, they're genuinely excited. And I think I've lost a little bit of that in trying to like overanalyze shit. So what you're saying is right. This faction thing gives you the ability to root for groups of people, right? I never thought in a million years that I would be cheering for Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Sonya Deville, but now all of a sudden, we're Team Studline over here. Yeah,
man, and it makes for a cohesive show, right? Because
100%.
now you've got different elements to stories that you can kind of add to it. Like last night, I look up, it's 8:45.
Oh man, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we're rolling with a pretty decent show here, and a lot of factions were involved in that show last night. So yeah, I like the direction that it's going.
All right, before we jump over to our SummerSlam rankings, I just want to get your take on the Wyatt Six, because I've eaten some shit today about saying I want to clarify. When I say I think they fell flat, I don't mean, like, I understand the crowd popped for them, right? And I understand that it was exciting. It just wasn't, it didn't match my expectation. And maybe that's my fault. Maybe I set my expectation too high. But the fear we all had was once the mask came off and they had to get in the ring and wrestle, they immediately became, well, two of them became for sure, Rowan and Gacy. That's what I saw. Yeah. Then Loomis was a different character to me.
Yeah.
But I saw Rowan and I saw Gacy without much difference from who they always were. I want your take on the Wyatt Six.
Yeah, man. I think we'll start with the entrance, and I'm not a fan of them having the old Bray theme music. I think they have to kind of, because you mentioned this. This is starting to feel like a tribute.
Yeah,
and you can only do that for so long, right? Like I seen clips go online last night from after the show, and they're in the ring and they're pointing up to the sky, and it's just like, I get it, but at some point, we got to start separating ourselves a little bit. Like there'll always be elements of Bray in this group because that's just the fact of the whole thing, right? But so the theme music kind of threw me off from the jump, because as they're walking down to the ring and it's kind of that upbeat, like it didn't work for me. And then, the in-ring stuff, I'm not mad at the masks are off. I think I kind of predicted that I wanted to see them take the masks off. So I'm not mad at that part. I think what really kind of did it for me last night was, I don't want this to become a wins and losses thing. Like when Dexter Loomis pins a 1, 2, 3, that's where you kind of lose me a little bit now, because it's like you got this group that kind of just seems like it should just be destructive.
Why are they following rules? What? Are they after titles?
I don't know, and I don't want that to be the direction that this goes, because the moment that you start making this more about wins and losses and titles and stuff, and kind of go away from like the I don't know what the word would be, but like the kind of like I don't want to say supernatural, but like the kind of spooky, the moment you go away from that is the moment that you're going to start losing people. Like that was the issue with Bray Wyatt as the Fiend.
Yes.
Right. He started going into these matches, and now he has to wrestle, and now he has to take losses or wins, and it's just like you kind of lose the aura of the whole thing.
Same with Karrion Kross. Same argument can be with Karrion Kross.
Same with that. So yeah, I don't know what the direction is going to be moving forward, but if it's going to be matches and wins and losses, that is where you're going to end up losing me.
Yeah, and I want to go on record and say, when I say take the mask off, I too am in favor of them taking the mask off. My argument for taking the mask off is Dexter Loomis takes the mask off, and I'm like, oh shit, this dude's committed. Yeah. His hair's different. He fucking looks crazy. Yeah. Gacy looked like Gacy when the mask came off. Rowan looked like Rowan. Let's do some makeup. Let's smear some black shit all over our face and look a little crazier than like mask come off. And now I'm seeing the same render that I see on WWE.com forever of Joe Gacy. And yeah, maybe he's got on a maroon shirt instead of fucking black, but it's still Joe Gacy to me. That's what I mean when I say take the mask off. This is what I thought the whole time, was that match was going to start and they were just going to ignore the rules.
That's what I was thinking.
I thought they were just, fuck the ref, screw everything about this. We'll destroy, leave these guys in a pile in the middle of the ring, and the show's going to end. And there should be a push and pull between like Adam Pearce calling Bo Dallas into his office and being like, I can't keep you guys around if you're not going to play by the rules. And Bo being like, I keep talking to them, they just don't listen, and things like that.
Now here's where you can save things, right? Okay. And this is just me just blabbling.
Bring me back.
So remember when we got actually Bo Dallas in the ring?
Yes.
At one point, we could do matches with wins and losses with Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
Out of the costume and mask. We could do matches with Rowan out of the costume and mask. and do that. But when we were presented as a group, no. Like rules are out the window. Like
I also don't know how they're going to work as baby faces.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. Yeah,
that to me, like, there's so much. Like, it feels like a tribute concert. But then I don't know if I need that at the main event. If that's what it's going to be, and I'm fine. If we're just going to come out and go, this is the Bray Wyatt tribute tour, let's do it like on the second hour every night.
Yeah. I thought they were going to start the show. That's where I was. I thought they were going to start, and then they said it's a main event. That's when I started thinking like, this like you're building this up as a main event, and it's just like when you start building it as a main event and not just like just a segment or a match. That's where you start to kind of like, all right, and then you get the pin count. It's just like, all right, we'll see what happens next, I guess.
Yeah, because the weird thing, it's like, to me, I said this, when the lights are off, they're great. They're spooky. And so if you have to close the show by turning the lights back off, I don't love that optic.
I'm not with that.
Yeah, like the closing should have been that this American-made group, which, by the way, I like a lot. But I do like that. This American-made group should have just been laid out in the middle of the ring, and there should have been no finish, and everybody just looking around like, okay, I don't know what the hell just happened, but this group is not going to. Clearly, they don't do tag team matches.
Yeah, and I kind of want this Gable connection to be done now. Like, the match happened. Let's move on. Let's get something different.
Yeah, because I mean, really, it just becomes why so focused on. At some point, they're going to have to let us know. There are other people that are doing shitty things in WWE to their friends. Why have they honed in on trying to murder Gable? Someone told me, by the way, that it was only Gable that committed that act in the back of the arena the first week. I'm not Gable. It was only Uncle Howdy. But they were all there, weren't they?
Yeah, they showed themselves.
One was like standing in the hallway. One was sitting on top of the boxes.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what that was. Someone was trying to explain that to me. Quentin here says, they should do it like how Bray did against The Miz during the pandemic. I don't know what he's referencing.
The Miz did the pandemic.
If you can expand on that, Quentin, we'll touch on it. But I don't know exactly what the reference is there.
Bray did the Miz in the pandemic. I'm trying to recall. I'm not getting there with it, but. I want them to separate because I want this American-made group to actually thrive because I like it.
They need to go back and finish off the Alpha Academy because after that fucking commercial, Otis deserves the fucking the Wyatt 6 needs to go after Otis after that commercial.
They got to get Otis. Yeah.